bit, but let's hit the third architecture that you were talking about first before we come back to.
Okay. Yeah. So if you've got collaboration,
Yep.
I've got to have connectivity anywhere, anytime, with any device. I've got virtualization where I'm actually taking my critical data center assets and I'm virtualizing them across the network.
Yep.
That's driving the need for a more robust network that we're calling the borderless network. Borderless in the sense that today people buy networks, they typically buy a router and a switch and that's their network, and it's all about the wired port. And then eventually they may want to add on mobility, or they add on security, or they add on some other functionality. What we're suggesting is that because of these trends, the base network is no longer going to be just a router and a switch.
Right.
The base network is going to be the router and the switch with mobility, with security. And when I say security, I'm talking about IT security,
right.
wired security. That's got to be built in. And now that my applications are being virtualized, I need to have application acceleration as well. So what you're going to see from Cisco, we look at these trends, we say, okay, we're going to have to start approaching the market a little bit differently in all three of these architectures, from how we go to market, how we build our products. And on the borderless network side, we're looking at, we need to start coming out with products that have common services across mobility and security, right, and routing and switching, common application enablers at that level, common programs for our partners, common specializations for our partners, common incentives for our partners. So we're really driving, I mean, we're looking at this architecture basis not as a marketing exercise,
right,
but as a how we develop products, how we work with third-party developers of edge devices as well,
right,
how we actually deliver our programs and our incentives out to partners. So the whole ecosystem of go-to-market we're looking at for...
And hence the architecture that brings all of those pieces together, right, instead of just a point product that maybe you would have developed in the past.
That's right, exactly.
In Cisco's world. So from these three architectures, whether they be collaboration, virtualization, or borderless networks, it sounds like obviously that the network is right in the center of it. And you said earlier that for these VARs of ours that tend to be on the edge device, that they needed to make sure that they have a knowledge of the network, a working knowledge of the network. Maybe not. Maybe they don't have to be the expert in the network, but they have to at least be able to understand how their applications interact with the network. Where can they get some additional education on that, and are there any programs that you've come out with to help them get up to speed about this architecture and be able to talk about it?
That's a great question. So on Partner Central, which is our main repository for our partner community, we've got all the presentations that you saw at the Partner Summit that kind of high-leveled what we're doing with these architectures, goes in much more detail than we did here.
Okay.
That'll all be out there. In addition, we're building QLMs for the borderless network as well as virtualization to give more information about what this really truly means. That'll be posted there as well. So I think there'll be a lot of area to go get some knowledge in there. The other area that I didn't touch on that I think now would be a good time that they can also get this from Partner Central,
right,
is the smart business architecture.
Okay.
So the smart business architectures, we're saying, okay, if we believe that the base network now is going to include routing and switching and security and mobility and acceleration, in order for a VAR to get up to speed on all those things, they're going to have to read, a stack of manuals this
right,
deep to go understand all that.
Right.
And for the mid-market, for maybe 250 type users and maybe a little below and maybe a little above that, that's not real profitable to go out and have to learn the depths of all Cisco's technology in all those areas. So what we did is we took some of our smartest engineers. We said, okay, here's the mid-market. Go talk to some partners and some customers and find out what products we should be recommending in here for classic architectures here. So they came up with some standard reference designs that they tested. So they've tested them with the whole portfolio working together. We built tools around those tested architectures, so the VAR can go in and order that architecture. And maybe they say, well, I don't need security for this one, or I don't need mobility.
In a single SKU environment.
In a single SKU environment,
okay.
That's right.
Right.
So completely, when we trialed this in the VAR community, we got back about 50% time savings on the pre-sale side, and another 60% on the deployment side. So we actually saw huge time savings because, again, pre-tested architectures,
yep,
the integration, I'm not asking the VAR to have to figure out how this widget fits with this widget. We've already done that. So I think you'll find that's a great resource to kind of get started a little bit in this in the borderless network thing.
That sounds like it. I remember when 802.11 first came out, many, many years ago, VARs had to spend a long time just designing the network
Right.
to make sure that it worked, and it sounds like Cisco's taking that design aspect of the network off their back now
That's exactly
and
right.
providing it to them. That
Yep.
is fantastic.